Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session. Well, basically, guys, this is our final session in terms of, let's say, working and assignments. Today, we're going to finish our unit 12. Maybe you remember that on Friday, we didn't finish our last activity, which was talking about a video, talking about making decisions. I'm going to give you like a few minutes to work on that in a moment. And then we will work on the final part, which is also related to a video. But in this case, talking about, as the title of our slide says, life in a new country. And of course, at the end, I will just remind you, like on very general terms, some aspects to keep in mind for our speaking exam. You know that we will have that part tomorrow. Okay. So first, I'm gonna give a couple of seconds to our classmates to arrive, and also I will assign the rooms based on what we were doing on Friday. Okay. So let me see. Let me adjust this for a minute. And we will begin, although everybody is not here, I know, but at least we can make some progress on that.
Teacher, sorry,
Yes.
I missed the Friday's lesson. So what I have to do to for this activity?
Well, actually, don't worry. It was like about a video, you know, talking about how people usually make decisions. That was like the main part. But I'm sure that your classmates will catch you up.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Welcome. Okay. I'm about to finish here. Mhm. Okay, some of you. Well, I'm gonna take attendance first, and then we can go to that part of the activity. Gonzalo is not here for the moment. Andrés Álvarez.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Joelia Ayala.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrea Vaca.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Gilbert Cárdenas. Let me see the chat. Okay. John Carrero. Not here for the moment. Brian Cordero. Well, I saw Brian just taking part of the session. Mistaken, there he is. Stephanie Cordó. Not here. Silvia Durán.
Present, teacher.
Juelisette Liscano.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Diana Lisette Lozada.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Luisa Fernanda Paredes.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Let me see the chat. Brian, I'm here. Okay. Mayra Juliet Pinzon.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mayra Alejandra Plata.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Harold David Rodríguez.
Hi, teacher.
Harold. Angélica Stephanie Sandoval. Not here for the moment. Daniela Fernanda Sierra.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Ana María Velasco.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Jennifer Jimena Vera.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Natalie Joana Pérez.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Cristian Josep Albarracín.
Here, teacher.
And Daniela Lozada.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Well, let me double check the list. Okay, for the moment, not here. Saray Acevedo, John Carrero, Stephanie Cordova.
Teacher, sorry. I'm here.
Okay, Stephanie, don't worry. Yeah, I remember that someone took part of the session, but I forgot the name. Angelica Stephanie Sandoval. As far as I know, she already informed. Okay. Very good. Well, guys, based on the fact that there are some people from the Friday session, you know, the final part who are not here, I'm going to move that activity to the end of the session, you know, to make sure that maybe some of those absent participants can be here. So at that point, I'm sure that all of us can participate. So I'm going to jump a little bit. Of course, as I was telling you, actually, more than of course, we will be working on the final part of our unit, which is work culture, talking about life in a new country. Okay, so we will be working with some of those activities. I made adjustments also in some other activities. The idea is to cover the topic and also to refresh a little bit about our memory about some topics that we studied on our previous week. In the book, well, I took the picture from that part. As you see, there are two different places. The instruction says, look at the photos of London and New Zealand and answer the questions. The first question says, what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of living in each place? When we say each place, of course, we're talking about London and New Zealand. And two, in what ways do you think life is similar or different? Of course, living in another country means a lot of changes. It is out there to say not that like a really easy question to answer. So guys, I'm gonna give you 4 minutes for you to take notes, you know, to brainstorm and organize your ideas to answer these two questions. Then after the 4 minutes, I'm going to ask 4 of you guys to share your ideas. As you can imagine, today's session is actually related to that idea, living in a new country. Okay, guys, did you have any question about the instructions?
No, teacher. I mean, it says life in a new country.
Mm-hmm.
You had to answer about London and New Zealand if in a hypothetical situation I decide to live in London or live in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. That is basically the idea. Yes.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank you for your question. Guys, 4 minutes starting now. and disadvantages of living in each place, and as it was clarified at the beginning, talking about London and New Zealand, and talking about also how life could be different on each place. Of course, you guys talking about your experience, probably you have visited any of those places, what you have read, what you have seen, everything, let's say, is accepted. Let me ask Luisa Fernanda Paredes, what would you answer related to the first question? What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of living in each place?
Okay, teacher, maybe an advantage is knowing a new culture, being in a developed country with optimal means of transportation, more job opportunities. I think like all that is like a better quality of life.
Okay.
And
Right.
maybe a disadvantage could be that to people like us, like foreigner people, is difficult progress in a country like that. Is we will have to work in something maybe bad or something that is different from our profession if we study here, and we are far from our family. So I think that is a disadvantage.
Okay, Luisa, thank you very much. Brian, what about you? You raise your hand. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of living in each place?
Okay, teacher, about advantages, I can say that New Zealand is a country with a high quality of life and education, healthy, and wonderful landscapes, but you can go ahead. About disadvantages, the cost of life is so high, and on this way you have to pay a lot of money related to taxes, and all the things that you have to buy in your routine or daily. These are the disadvantages.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much. Let's see if we can ask someone else to share their opinion. Jennifer Jimena, what about you? Advantages and disadvantages of each place.
Okay, teacher. In this case, for example, in London, I think that there are more opportunities to apply for a job, and maybe you can discover other cultures, because I have read that in this city it's common to find a lot of restaurants where work people from island that are near from this place. And in case of New Zealand, maybe you can go to this place for vacation. There are places where the nature is the main attraction. And what ways do you think life is similar or different? Maybe similar the cost of living, and different maybe mm, the amount of people that live in those cities. Maybe in New Zealand are fewer than in London.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you very much. And Christian, the second question, connecting a little bit to what Jennifer was sharing. In what ways do you think life is similar and different?
between London and New Zealand. Maybe
New
it's very
Zealand.
similar about his culture and education.
It's
And
culture. Okay.
to his culture, bueno, their culture and education.
Mhm.
And it's different, I don't know, on how polluted is their cities. I mean,
Mm,
London is more crowded
good.
than New Zealand in general, so the
Mhm.
pollution has to be very high in London. I mean, until I know, in London, they have experienced many times that we call smog,
Mhm.
but until I know, in New Zealand, never had experienced that.
They
the
have never
pollution,
experienced that.
so the pollution must be very different. And the food, I don't know how different it is, but they have the same problem. They cannot produce their food all the years, or it's just certain time of the year, like 3 or 4 months.
Mhm.
I think New Zealand have a more difficult scenario than London in that aspect.
Okay, Christian, thank you very much. And thank you guys, the ones that shared the answers. The ones that haven't shared, don't worry, you will have the opportunity to share your ideas later on. Well, guys, as you can imagine, of course, we will be talking about New Zealand in particular. During this activity, we will be working on this chart. So it is divided into 3 different parts. Let's say that the general question says, what do you know about New Zealand? First, you're going to complete the first column, okay? Before watching the video, you're going to complete the column in this KWL chart. That's the name of the whole chart. That is why I highlighted, let's say, the words that actually are essential part of the name. You are going to write down the information that you know, okay? So guys, the idea that you don't Google it. Remember, you're going to, let me send it, complete the chart. First of all, what you know about New Zealand. Once again, let me clarify, do not Google it. Guys, as usual, just to refresh your memory, this is like the organization of the slides, so we don't make the mistake. This is the final activity of this cycle. Of course, talking about the gradable component. Let's go to the slide that corresponds to your number. Of course, remember the first thing to do, which is to write down your name. And that is going to be the idea. Could you please confirm that you can actually edit the slide or the PowerPoint presentation, please?
Yes,
Can you
teacher.
edit it? Perfect. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Great. So please don't forget, the first thing to do is to type your name. And for the moment, what you are going to do is to complete the first column, because we're just brainstorming, you know, we are just talking about very general information. I'm gonna give you 6 minutes. Of course, at this point, I don't expect you to like fully, I don't know, complete the column with a lot of details and things like that. Remember, for the moment, we're just like refreshing our memory, trying to get some extra information that we have about New Zealand. That would be like the idea of this first column. So I'm gonna check that you have written your names. Let me see. Okay, there are 2 people in the waiting room. I didn't notice, sorry. Ok, la primera positiva no está. Cristian, very good. Andrés, vamos bajando. Gilbert, ya puso el nombre. Silvia Alejandra, Judy Lisset, Diana Lisset, Daniela. Mayra Juliet, Mayra Alejandra, Daniela Fernanda, Jennifer Jimena. Okay, I'm gonna send the link again now that 2 more people took part of the session. Guys, remember, only the first column, what you know about New Zealand, 6 minutes starting now.
Teacher is only the first column, yeah?
Teacher, sorry, how can I say it's pay well? So talking about work.
What do you mean? Because what you said, it's already good enough. It pays well. Or the
Okay.
salary is good. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, welcome. Okay, let's have a look at the first part. In this case, as I was telling you, the idea is to talk about what you know about New Zealand. We weren't specifying like which aspect per se, you know, like just in general terms. Let's see, it's located in Europe. New Zealand, not really. It had a cold weather. I think it's a Scandinavian country. We'll see. With my eyes, I can't read. And it says, I know that it is an isolated country. It has many islands and the country divided into big islands. Is main, maybe? Aquí dice many, but I think you mean main language is English and there is a famous indigenous group called the Maoris. Maoris. Okay. New Zealand is near Australia, sin el 2. No está la persona en la diapositiva 4. Slide 5. I know that New Zealand is located in Oceania. New Zealand is part of the monarchy of the United Kingdom. Okay. Gilbert says is a country. The official language is English. La E mayúscula para English. New Zealand is a British colony. Is near to Australia. El segundo cuadro todavía no va. No es la persona en la diapositiva 7. Number 8. Is an island country in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. New Zealand. Letra un poquito pequeñita. New Zealand has got quality of life, education, and development. English is the principal language spoken in New Zealand. Stephanie. Is a Europe country where the social politics is very important. They are focused. Bueno, como ya tenemos focus, no necesitamos el AR. Chao. They focus on. Para que hagas el ajuste, conservation and environmental care, el orden de las palabras. With less polluting means of transport. Also, they have a garbage collection system that allows them to recycle efficiently. Muy bien. Sylvia says, it's a country in the continent of Oceania. Its capital is Wellington. They are famous for their kiwis. It is an island with beaches, forests, and some volcanoes. And is rated as one of the best countries to live in the world. Ah, interesting. New Zealand looks more natural, there is more vegetation, and they have a very good education, the best of the world. It's a good place to live. There are a lot of opportunities if you want to learn English, la de English en mayúscula. And there are many places, for sightseeing. Very good. Then I said, New Zealand has beautiful places to enjoy nature. I know that New Zealand brings a lot of immigration opportunities and possibilities to study and work there. New Zealand is ranked in top of countries with the best quality of life. It recognized by the high quality of their education system. Good answers. Daniela says, developed country, stands out in education, quality of life, government transparency, and economic freedom. Was the first country to give women the right to vote. New Zealand has many beautiful landscapes. Luisa Fernanda Paredes says, it located in the Oceania continent, close to Australia. I know it has a lot, sorry, vegetation and animals. I know that your official language is English. It's, Luisa, para que haga el ajuste acá. Estamos hablando de ese lugar, allá, por decirlo así. Natalie Perez, one of the most secure countries and organized. The public transport is free. Ah, that would be great. Every work is important and pays well. Como ya tenemos este inicio aquí, Natalie, que sería como el sujeto de la oración. Every work is important. Ya no necesitamos el it, sino solo is. Verbo to be solito.
Okay, teacher, thanks.
Okay. This says no está. It's a developed country, secure. Maybe you can find more opportunities about job. Maybe you can find more job opportunities por ahí. Maybe all the things are more expensive. The cost of living here is high. ¿Listo? El costo is singular. Mayra Alejandra. Okay, quality of life. Well, your answers are a little bit similar. Well, in this case, talking about how they care about climate changes. Find a lot of natural places. People there look very happy living in their country. They receive many foreign people for not qualified jobs. That's interesting. Belong to the Australian continent. It used to have its own continent. Its name is Zealand. Okay. But the most part of the territory is underwater. Nice. The official language of this place is English. For arriving there, you have to take maybe one of your longest flight ever. Anela Fernandez Sierra. Open mind. Uncharted places. One of the most important and highest rates of education. Ana Maria says, I don't know much about the country. I'm pretty sure. Is in Oceania, the cost of life is better, education, security. Beautiful places. Well, guys, actually, you are, let's say, on the same line, talking about there. For those who prefer saying our in nation, or there's some of the young people less than 35, I'm out of that group. Who like to go there for learning English and working there for 8 months, Jennifer. The most important is that healthcare is free. English con E mayúscula. Very good. Well, guys, basically on up to this part, you have been talking about, let's say, some similar aspects, talking about the education, talking about the economic system, somehow how, let's say, robust it is. Also, you have been talking about the nature part, which of course plays an important role in New Zealand. We were talking about very general aspects. We're going to narrow it down. I'm already here, okay? Because we're going to watch a video about Imogen and Charlie, a British couple who are thinking of moving to New Zealand. That is going to be like the new, let's say, context or the focus from now on. Before we watch the video, the idea is that we have a look at some vocabulary that you're going to see. Probably you already know. We have down under, that this is a very colloquial expression, especially from British people, to talk about places like Australia and New Zealand, talking about outdoor pursuits, things that you do outside. Usually for us would be more related to extreme sports, for example. In this case, talking about walking, climbing, hiking, camping, everything that is related to outside activities. A big pull to emigrate, when we're talking about a big pull, it's something that is very attractive. And to immigrate, as you already know, to move permanently in another country. Based on this context now, guys, you know that, well, I don't like this highlight. The context that we have talking about moving to New Zealand, I would like you now to complete the second column. Some of you already did it, but the idea was to wait a little bit because now in this case, it's not talking about New Zealand in general. Remember the context. We're talking about moving to that place in particular. So based on that sense, what do you want to know about New Zealand, but based on the situation Like the context that we want to focus on is moving to New Zealand, but living there, you know? So what do you want to know about New Zealand, but like living in the country? That's the information that you're going to complete here on the second slide. That would be this one. Try the information that you want to know about the country. Remember, our point of reference is now like living in that place. Guys, is the instruction clear?
No, teacher, I don't understand you.
Okay,
You say living here?
there.
There, living there?
Living in New Zealand, yeah, because, well, first, you already shared what you know about the country, but we're going to watch a video about two people who are trying to decide if they want to live in New Zealand. So on this second part, you're going to write what you want to know about New Zealand, but in terms of living in the country, okay? Imagine that you want to go to New Zealand to live. What would you like to know before going to live in New Zealand? That is more like the idea. Okay,
Yes, thank you.
very good, guys. So we have narrowed it down, you know, like from all the different possible topics that it has to offer, what you want to know about New Zealand, but like a living place, like your permanent place to live. In this case, once again, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes starting in this moment. Okay, guys, let's see your answers. In the second part, talking about what you want to know about New Zealand, focusing on that aspects of living there. I'm going to choose 5 of you. I'm going to have a look at Christian. Christian says job opportunities, healthcare system, cost of living, which the crowded cities are. Como es una oración a manera de pregunta, por eso el are va al final, Christian. A menos que coloquemos un signo de interrogación, pero si es como una pregunta hecha a manera de oración, el are va al final. For you to make that judgment. Let's have a look at the slide number 9. That is Stephanie's. If I was thinking of moving to New Zealand, I would like to know 1. Is it easy for foreigners to get a job? What is the country's minimum wage? How much is inflation? Is medical care free, subsidized, or private? Very good. Enlace por tanta minúscula, Stephanie, el I y el nombre del país, but the information is excellent. Third person, Daniela Lozada. I want to know its touristic places. I want to know how the people interact on day to day. Number 4, Juliet Pinson. Mayra Juliet Pinson. I would like to know what is the most interesting mountain to climb. Entonces, lo mismo que le estaba contando ahorita, Cristian, como no es propiamente una pregunta, sino una oración dentro de una pregunta, sería, I would like to know what the most interesting mountain to climb is. Va para el final. I would like to know about the most famous restaurant. De pronto, si es uno restaurant, si son varios, pero restaurants. I would like to know about the most delicious food in the city. I would like to know, entonces lo mismo la primera, what the best way, bueno, creo que no la has terminado. Lo que vayas a poner de la última pregunta, que la última palabra sea is. And, Ana María Velasco, en este caso solo revisa 5. Of course, I will check them all eventually. I want to know all the country, their culture, their gastronomy, the people maybe have an experience working there. I know how their work system works. Visit places, maybe know animals. I want to live in their system and know all about the economy, weather, health, area, and education. Very good. Well, guys, we're going to move now to the actual video, you know. Of course, you already know the context. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the whole screen first. I'm going back to the book. The context is this. You are going to watch a video about Imogen and Charlie, a British couple who are thinking of moving to New Zealand. Based on that idea, you have to answer 4 questions. Let's read the 4 questions first, okay? Natalie, could you read questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, please?
Yes, teacher, 1, 2,
3 and 4. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, and 4.
Teacher, it's Imogen.
Yes.
Imogen and Charlie's life in UK, United Kingdom, I think. 2, the lifestyle in New Zealand. 3, their family situations. And 4, job prospects in New Zealand.
There are 4 different aspects that are being presented on the video. Let's say that we are not going to use our chart for a moment. The idea that you take some notes answering, getting information about these 4 aspects that we have, okay? Of course, the information is presented here on the video. Notice that the video is quite long, but anyway, we're going to watch until minute 3.35. I will tell you why later. But anyway, we're going to watch the video twice, okay? Guys, do you have any questions about the instruction?
Teacher, can you show again the questions, please?
Sure, there you go.
Thank you, teacher.
Welcome. Okay, let's hope that there is any ad appearing in a moment.
Every year, thousands of us are drawn to New Zealand to start a new life. It's a country renowned for its beautiful scenery and relaxed lifestyle. It's the same size as the British Isles, but with a population of only 4.7 million. However, leaving behind everything you know can be a lot harder than people expect.
Imogen Daughtry and Charlie Cowan have 1 week to see if they want to swap their lives in Kingston upon Thames for a new start down under. It will be a huge decision, probably the biggest they've ever had to make.
Home for Imogen Daughtry and her partner Charlie Cowan is Kingston upon Thames, just outside London. Imogen is a language teacher at a secondary school and Charlie works as a recruitment consultant in the city. Imogen and Charlie want to find out if New Zealand's capital, Wellington, could be the perfect place to start the next chapter of their lives. New Zealand is renowned for its extreme sports and spectacular outdoor pursuits. Okay, maybe it's not extreme sport, but Imogen has always been drawn by the outdoor lifestyle that's available in New Zealand.
I'm much rather into sail, into kayak.
However, city-loving Charlie has his reservations.
It's not amazing. I wouldn't stay out and do this for hours and hours. It's a bit boring.
I'm sure I can do things like this in the UK. I just think it's more beautiful to be able to do it here. I mean, the weather is fantastic today, and it's the middle of winter. For me, being able to do outdoor sports and things like this is a really big pull.
Today, the couple are meeting up with Imogen's mum and dad. Along with her brothers, her parents emigrated to New Zealand 8 years ago. Imogen stayed in the UK to finish studying, and now they're a big part of her reasons for wanting to move down under.
We really do love it here, and of course we would love you to come out and join us.
I think seeing my parents, today has been quite a big pull in terms of, me wanting to move here. But at the same time, Charlie's parents are in Scotland, so it's going to be quite a tough decision to make.
Imogen has been given a chance to do what she loves, teach.
What do you think this says at the top? It says, Qu'est-ce que tu aimes? Teaching is my passion, it's what I love doing. So if I couldn't teach over here in New Zealand, I think I'd have to go back home and think long and hard as to whether or not a move here would be the right decision for me.
Meanwhile, Charlie is in the city for an interview at a multinational recruitment company.
I was looking for some advice on, what recruiters earn in Wellington.
A salary sort of for this type of role, again, it would depend on experience and there is a range, but it would be somewhere around the region of 60 to 70,000 New Zealand dollars, which would, if you converted it currency-wise, be about £35,000, plus commission on top of that. So the earnings could quite easily be in excess of 100,000. It's up to you. And earning of such levels in New Zealand would buy you a very good quality of life here.
That's something that I would need to think about. From what you said, it's a massive cut.
Now, as they face the final vote, have they come to an agreement about where their future lies?
Okay, we are not going to see yet what the decision that they are going to be making about New Zealand is. We're going to watch the video again. Let me remind you the aspects that you are supposed to be taking notes on: Imogen's and Charlie's life in the UK, lifestyle in New Zealand, their family situation, and the job prospects. Let's go back.
Every year, thousands of us are drawn to New Zealand to start a new life. It's a country renowned for its beautiful scenery and relaxed lifestyle. It's the same size as the British Isles, but with a population of only 4.7 million. However, leaving behind everything you know can be a lot harder than people expect.
Imogen Daughtry and Charlie Cowan have 1 week to see if they want to swap their lives in Kingston upon Thames for a new start down under. It will be a huge decision, probably the biggest they've ever had to make.
Home for Imogen Daughtry and her partner Charlie Cowan is Kingston upon Thames, just outside London. Imogen is a language teacher at a secondary school and Charlie works as a recruitment consultant in the city. Imogen and Charlie want to find out if New Zealand's capital, Wellington, could be the perfect place to start the next chapter of their lives. New Zealand is renowned for its extreme sports and spectacular outdoor pursuits. Okay, maybe it's not extreme sport, but Imogen has always been drawn by the outdoor lifestyle that's available in New Zealand.
Much rather than to sail than to kayak.
However, city-loving Charlie has his reservations.
It's not amazing. I wouldn't stay out and do this for hours and hours. It's a bit boring.
I'm sure I can do things like this in the UK. I just think it's more beautiful to be able to do it here. I mean, the weather is fantastic today, and it's the middle of winter. For me, being able to do outdoor sports and things like this is a really big pull.
Today, the couple are meeting up with Imogen's mum and dad. Along with her brothers, her parents emigrated to New Zealand 8 years ago. Imogen stayed in the UK to finish studying, and now they're a big part of her reasons for wanting to move down under.
We really do love it here, and of course we would love you to come out and join us.
I think seeing my parents, today has been quite a big pull in terms of, me wanting to move here. But at the same time, Charlie's parents are in Scotland, so it's going to be quite a tough decision to make.
Imogen has been given a chance to do what she loves, teach.
What do you think this says at the top? It says, Qu'est-ce que tu aimes? Teaching is my passion, it's what I love doing. So if I couldn't teach over here in New Zealand, I think I'd have to go back home and think long and hard as to whether or not a move here would be the right decision for me.
Meanwhile, Charlie is in the city for an interview at a multinational recruitment company.
I was looking for some advice on, what recruiters earn in Wellington.
A salary sort of for this type of role, again, it would depend on experience and there is a range, but it would be somewhere around the region of 60 to 70,000 New Zealand dollars, which would, if you converted it currency-wise, be about 35,000 pounds, plus commission on top of that. So the earnings could quite easily be in excess of 100,000. It's up to you. And earning of such levels in New Zealand would buy you a very good quality of life here.
That's something that I would need to think about. From what you said, it's a massive cut.
Now, as they face the final
Okay, we are not going to watch the final decision yet. Remember that the idea was to get some information about these four aspects that were presented on the video. Let's see how much information you could get. Let me ask Julie Lisette, what about Imogen's and Charlie's life in London?
Sorry, teacher, I have some problems with my internet. Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure, Julie. I'm asking you about the first aspect, in very general terms, based on the information that was presented on the video, how's Imogen's and Charlie's life in the UK? What did they say about that?
Sorry, teacher, I can answer that question.
Okay, don't worry, Julie. Let me ask then Mayra Pinzon. Like, where do they live? What do they do? Basically, it's like the idea of this question.
Teacher, I'm not sure about the answer. It's about she's a teacher.
Yeah.
And he's looking for a job. Yeah. Or is in a capital Wellington. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, in London for the moment, because we're talking about like the life that they have in the UK, she definitely is a teacher. But what is Charlie's job?
Recruitment consultant.
Recruitment consultant. Very good.
Consultant.
And they also talk about where they live,
They live in Kingston upon Thames.
No. Ah, you're talking about like more like the neighborhood. Ah, okay, I see your point. Yeah. Well, like outside London would be more than enough. Let's go now to New Zealand. Based on what it was presented, like again, very general terms, the lifestyle in New Zealand. How is it, Ana Maria?
I'm not sure, but I think it's life is relaxed style.
It's
And
relaxed. Very good.
there are extreme sports. Oh, no, not too much extreme, but there are many outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she thinks that it's very attractive. She likes, but he thinks that it's
Boring.
boring. Yes.
Good, Ana Maria. Great. That's a really good answer. Sylvia, what is the family situation? When we're talking about the family situation would be like, let's say, simplified in two ways. Where are Imogen's
Imoji
parents and
parents
Charlie's parents?
emigrate to New Zealand 8 years ago.
8?
And 8? No, I don't 8.
I heard 18. Okay.
I'm not sure. And Charlie's parents live in Scotland.
Scotland, yes. Very good. That would be it. Question number 4, Diana. Which are the job prospects in New Zealand?
Imogen wants to work as a teacher. She said that teaching is her passion. And Charlie is looking for a job in a multinational recruitment company.
Very good. Well, guys, we have already watched the video about New Zealand. Now we're going to complete our chart, the final part. Based on what you watch, what have you learned about New Zealand? So you already had the information. Am I sharing the whole screen? Yes. First of all, talking to what you know, what you wanted to learn, and now let's see if what you actually learned, it is connected to what you wanted to know. So after watching the video, different aspects that they were sharing, what did you learn? So to finish this part, I'm gonna give you, once again, 5 minutes, okay? And of course, I'm going to have a look at some of your comments before we continue. Is it clear, the information that you have to complete in the final column, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Perfect, 5 minutes starting now. Okay. Let's have a look at some of your answers. In this case, guys, you are going to read yours. I already read some of your answers from the no and from the one part. Let's see what you have already learned. I'm going to ask Christian, please, could you read what you wrote on your third column, please?
The population of the country is only 4.5 million.
5, Christian.
Sorry, 4.7 million.
Okay.
And the currency is New Zealand is the New Zealand dollar. The lifestyle is relaxed with many outdoor activities, and more people start to emigrate to New Zealand for a new beginning.
Very good, Christian. Thank you very much. Let's see, we have some different information from Andrea. Could you read yours, please?
Yes, teacher. New Zealand have a relaxing lifestyle. You can do extreme sports. The weather is fantastic in the middle of the winter. New Zealand have beautiful outdoor pursuits.
Okay. Andrea, New Zealand has. Okay. That we are talking about the country. I already read Stephanie's in the previous one. Don't hate me. Sylvia, what about yours?
Yeah. And in this country with many opportunities, excellent quality of life, and a high minimum wage, the climate is very nice most of the year, and they have many outdoor activities and a lot of extreme sports.
Extreme sports, very good, thank you. Lisette, what about Diana Lisette? Yes. What about yours? What you have learned?
Yeah, okay, teacher. New Zealand has a relaxed lifestyle. There are also many outdoor pursuits and sports. In New Zealand, you can have a very good quality of life, and the jobs and roles that you get in a company depends on your experience.
Okay, very good. Let's see in this case. Mayras, but I guess. What policies? I haven't read yours. What about your Mayra Alejandra Plata?
I don't know, I put it like an ideas, like a list of ideas. So the first one says outdoor pursuits looks great and relaxing. They have like 4.7 million inhabitants. They also have high quality of life and life there looks relaxed and balanced with the work life. You can find many options for jobs there with many different opportunities and depends on the profile of each person. Also, people lose happy. Well, that was my perception of video. Optimistic and enthusiastic all the time.
Optimistic.
Optimistic, I mean, with I and C at the end.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Mayra. Very good. And the last one, Jennifer, what about yours? What you learned?
Yes, teacher. New Zealand's weather is fantastic. You can apply for a job and have a good quality of life. It's a peaceful place and it has spectacular outdoor pursuits. So I think I could never get bored.
Okay, guys, very good. The ones that I didn't read in the moment, don't worry. Of course, there will be plenty of time for me to read yours. Well, guys, remember that at the end, what they were doing, Imogen and Charlie, was to collect information, you know, in order to make that huge decision of changing where they are living currently. So before we watch, you know, the decision that they made, how do you think they will each vote? So, do you think that they choose to move to New Zealand or you think that they choose to stay in the UK? There are up to this moment 18 of you of course, I expect 18 answers, but anyway, I'm gonna give you like a little less than 2 minutes. So based on what we watched, their perceptions, their interactions, what do you think is going to happen? 1 minute and less starting now. Okay, maybe, I don't know if the other two participants can share the answer. Maybe, I don't know the reason. Like this percentage, it looks more elegant when we provide any information with percentages. So 75% of you think that they should to move to New Zealand, while 25% of you think that they should stay in the UK. Don't close the tab because there will be a second question. Let's see the final result. I'm sharing the whole screen. Now I'm sharing sound is what I want to check. Just like this.
Have they come to
Let me put it like this. Let's see what the final result is.
an agreement about where their future lies?
After everything that we've experienced here in New Zealand, our final vote goes to... UK.
Well, guys, they decided to stay in the UK. So actually 25% of you, let's say, actually show the same that they did, while the 25% of the others actually, let's say, had a different opinion. Okay. I know, shocking.
I do believe.
I couldn't believe it either when it was 7. It was like, how come? Of course, our perception, well, most of us have a different perception. And that is why what you are gonna tell me now, what would you have decided in their situation, guys? It's exactly the same link. In case that you close the tab, don't worry. I want you to tell me after what we watched, after we analyzed, and also like, again, their feelings, their perception, just like to wrap up this activity in particular, what would you have decided in their situation? Remember that we were already talking about these models of past, that they are more focused on talking about those imaginary situations, more like regrets. I really expect a good answer from you. Don't tell me I would have traveled to New Zealand. Okay, thank you. Give me a little bit of extra information. I think that up to this point, our answer can be a little bit more, let's say, detailed. That is like the intention. So what would you have decided in their situation? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. And as I was telling you, this will be like the wrapping up of this video, this activity in particular. 5 minutes starting now. Only 9. There are like 10 missing replies. What are the other answers? Let's have a look at them while they are arriving. Change my life and move to New Zealand. Okay. Maybe that was before I told you, like, give me more information, I guess. I will have traveled and started living there. This country offers a lot of things to do. It would be a good chance for improving my quality life. I had decided to move to New Zealand. I consider it a good option for a new place to live, which is different from London in many ways and can offer a more stable and peaceful future, as well as new experiences, adventures, and new challenges. I would have decided to move to New Zealand. It's a good place to live. To live sería con B pequeña, porque esta viene siendo vida, ¿no? I love extreme sports, and I can practice some of these in this place. Almost they have a good weather, even in winter. Absolutely. Estas tres. Based on the information of the video, and if I been, okay, if I had been, si yo hubiera estado, ¿no? Remember that was one of the, let's say, combinations that we studied in this unit. In the same situation of Charlie's, I would stay on UK in. When we're talking about countries, would be in. Because I understand that his income is going to be reduced. Sería con D, para que sea reducido. And maybe his relationship with Imogen's parents is not the best. Okay. Different point of view. I think that decision depends on the job and the opportunity to do what I would like to work. However, faltó aquí la coma, I would have traveled to New Zealand just for the experience and learning. If I were they, if I were them, el orden de las palabras, creo que eso ya lo había corregido en uno de los textos. No sé si de pronto ya habían visto las correcciones. Sería, I would definitely move to New Zealand. I wouldn't stay in the UK knowing that not even my family is there and that the other country, and that, sorry, in the other country I could expect an even better quality of life. I believe that in this case, when you have to choose which option is better to live, you have to choose which option is better to live and start a new life. You have to identify all options. Como es all, toca ponerle aquí el plural. When you're immigrant, it's really hard to start in okay.
In other, teacher.
Lo quitamos. Yeah. Okay. In other uncharted places, for that you have to assess. Okay. I would have decided to stay in the place that generates more stability for me, not only considering the lifestyle, but also the opportunity that I have in the country and what is best for my future. I would like to move to New Zealand because it sounds like a new challenge and a new perspective on life, with many opportunities to improve my skills and my lifestyle and my style of life, sorry. Also, if I have family there, it looks more easy and simple to do something like that. Como ese es un adjetivo corto, no diríamos more easy, sino easier. ¿Listo? Con la transformación de la Y y todo. But good. 13. Bueno, llegaron 3 más. Probably I would take the same decision. I would choose the UK because there they have a stable position. She's doing what she loves. And also he's working in a company, so I think they can get more experience and maybe in the future they could move. No tenía ni una coma ese parrafito. But the answer, it's okay. Careful with the punctuation, guys. Más que mañana viene el escrito. ¿Qué vendrá en esa pregunta del examen? I would have decided to move to New Zealand because I am a nature lover and I could enjoy beautiful landscapes there. And also I would have a lot of good paid job opportunities. The last one. 5 me la quedaron debiendo, parece. I think I would have decided the same. In the UK, it is all my life and my dream work. Family nearby, a cute city in which I have a good time. I will not have to go to any country. And also there is a family there that I can visit on vacation. Okay, guys, very good. Thank you for sharing your answers, your perspectives about the situation. I know that most of you were kind of shocked on the decision that they made. In the video, actually, it looked at some points like they were comfortable with the place, with the activity that they were doing, but you know, everybody has a different point of view. Let me close here. this part. And well, guys, well, we already did this and this and this. Let's move to this one. Okay, to wrap up the idea, well, we already talked about Imogen and Charlie. We're not going to watch a video about them anymore. This case, this video is shorter. If you're wondering in which part of the book we are talking about, we're having a look at the information that we have on page 124. But we're going to focus only on this first part. Remember, guys, that we still have to talk about, let's put it like that, the different parameters for tomorrow's exam, to organize it as much as possible, and of course to make sure that all the ideas and everything is crystal clear for you. We're going to watch 4 people talking about living in a foreign country. The idea that you answer these 4 questions about the 4 people that we have in here. So for each person, you gotta say, where is she from originally? I'm sharing the whole screen, yes. Which country did she move to and why? What were the best things about living there? What were the disadvantages of living there? You remember that at the beginning of this session, well, talking about specifically about London and New Zealand, we were just predicting, you know, which were the possible advantages and disadvantages of living in those places. We're going to wrap up that idea with this video in particular. Notice that compared to the previous video that was like 4 minutes something, this is very short. So all the 4 participants are given the information, let's say, easily and right away. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions? Let me turn this off. No questions?
No, teacher. No, teacher.
Okay, you're gonna notice that it's pretty simple. We're gonna watch it twice. In case that you need a third repetition, you know, to get all the answer, the 4 answers about the 4 people, just let me know. Let me make sure first that everything is working properly. Let me go back. Okay, didn't have the link yet, sorry. Nice. Okay. Let me share with you again the questions. Probably you need to take a screenshot, or well, I'm sure that you already noticed that we have those questions on the book. I haven't changed them at all. Let's see.
I'm from Germany and I came to the UK, to London a couple of years ago because my husband got a job here. And I really like living in London. I think one of the best things is really that there's always so much to do. There are so many museums and galleries, and yeah, it's a very diverse city.
I'm originally from Minnesota, which is in America, in the Midwest, just on the border of Canada. And back in 1998, I went to China to study for a semester. A year later, I decided to go back and teach, and I stayed there for about 8 years. And I really loved China. I loved the food, the people, the culture, the language. There were all kinds of things that kept me there for a long time.
In 2003, I moved to South Korea from Canada, and it was my first major overseas experience. I went there because I wanted to experience what it was like to live in a different culture. The best part about it was life-changing. It opened my eyes to a different way of living.
I moved from the UK to Italy when I was 20. It was part of my university degree. I studied Italian at university. And after I graduated, I had such a great experience in Italy that I decided to move there permanently. So I moved in 1999. I had a fabulous time. What I really loved was learning a new language.
One thing that I don't really like too much is that it's a place where people come to live just for a couple of years. And so it happened a couple of times that I just became friends with someone and then they moved back to their home country or just moved to a different place.
Towards the end of my 8 years there, I decided that if I wanted to have a family and settle down, China was not the place for me as a foreigner. So I decided to move.
Probably the most difficult thing about living in South Korea was being so far away from friends and family, and the language barrier. It was quite difficult not to always understand what people were saying or where they were coming from.
It was difficult being so far away from my family though, because I'm quite close to them. So that's something I found a bit more problematic. Couldn't just take a train home. But overall, it was a really positive experience.
We're going to watch it the second time.
I'm from Germany and I came to the UK, to London a couple of years ago because my husband got a job here. And I really like living in London. I think one of the best things is really that there's always so much to do. There are so many museums and galleries and yeah, it's a very diverse city.
I'm originally from Minnesota, which is in America, in the Midwest, just on the border of Canada. And back in 1998, I went to China to study for a semester. A year later, I decided to go back and teach, and I stayed there for about 8 years. And I really loved China. I loved the food, the people, the culture, the language. There were all kinds of things that kept me there for a long time.
In 2003, I moved to South Korea from Canada, and it was my first major overseas experience. I went there because I wanted to experience what it was like to live in a different culture. The best part about it was life-changing. It opened my eyes to a different way of living.
I moved from the UK to Italy when I was 20. It was part of my university degree. I studied Italian at university. And after I graduated, I had such a great experience in Italy that I decided to move there permanently. So I moved in 1999. I had a fabulous time. What I really loved was learning a new language.
One thing that I don't really like too much is that it's a place where people come to live just for a couple of years. And so it happened a couple of times that I just became friends with someone and then they moved back to their home country or just moved to a different place.
Towards the end of my 8 years there, I decided that if I wanted to have a family and settle down, China was not the place for me as a foreigner. So I decided to move.
Probably the most difficult thing about living in South Korea was being so far away from friends and family, and the language barrier. It was quite difficult not to always understand what people were saying or where they were coming from.
It was difficult being so far away from my family though, because I'm quite close to them. So that's something I found a bit more problematic. Couldn't just take a train home. But overall, it was a really positive experience.
Okay, guys, do you think, or all of you guys have the answers of the question that we have in here?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. We're about to finish our session, so let's start. First of all, where is she from? Let's talk about the nationality, or well, the places where all of them are from. Let's see. Andres, what about Anna? Where is she from?
I don't hear her. Teacher.
Didn't hear where she was from?
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask Mayra Plata. Where is Anna from?
Teacher, I don't remember. That was the first one who moved to Germany.
Good. She is from Germany. Very good.
Thank you,
yeah, well, she doesn't really start her, let's say, interventions like specifying that she is German, but She's talking about her place of origin. Which country talking about Anna, which country did she move to and why? Luisa, Fernanda. Today you are the only Luisa in here.
It's just me today.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, teacher. Anna, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, Anna is from Germany and she moved to London, to United Kingdom. And
do you remember why?
Because her husband get a job in London.
Got a job in London. Very good. Gilbert, according to Anna, what's the best thing about living in London? Gilbert? Well, he's not here, looks like. Stephanie.
The best, there are very much things for do, like galleries, museums. It's a very diverse city.
Diverse. That's it. Let me make one adjustment. Let's see the chat. What they have to say. Okay, there you are, Gilbert. Sorry. Well, there's a lot of museums in plural. Very good. And what is the negative part, Andrea, about London, according to Anna?
Don't hear well that tour. I think that she was saying that the people move to another country. I don't know. I don't hear well.
Let's ask Christian for help. What's the negative part? Disadvantage.
She described London like a place, a place where no one settles down, but like going there, work, study, or something else, and go back to their main cities, their main countries. So it's difficult to make friends and keep a friendship, all that stuff.
That was the thing. Very good. I'm going to ask you for one more. I'm going to ask you about Carol. Let's see what information we can get from John. Where is Carol from?
Teacher, I cannot remember who is Carol is. No, to be honest, I cannot remember.
Okay. Daniela, where is Carol from?
Which Daniela, teacher?
Oh my God, Daniela Fernanda. Cierto.
Carol is Minnesota. And
is
from Minnesota and moved to US. And after that,
moved to US?
Minnesota, US.
Uh-huh.
Minnesota in America, North American, and moved to Canada, and after that go to China.
She didn't really move to Canada. She's like giving extra information of where Minnesota is, that is next to Canada, and she moved to China. Very good. Jennifer, the best thing about living in China?
She loved the food, the people, and she decided to came back because she studied there for a semester.
Okay. And Ana Maria, the negative aspect about China?
Maybe China is not a place for foreign to have a family. So she decided to move.
Okay, that's it. Very good. Well, guys, I was telling you that I was going to ask only about 2 people because one is already 9:46 and second, because we still have, let's say, to talk about the final part of our exam, which is going to be the speaking part. Remember, guys, that tomorrow we are going to be having that part. Just to refresh your memory what it is about, and especially for, there is someone in the waiting room. For Daniela Lozada, Sarah is not here. I hope that she can watch the recording at some point. The final speaking exam is going to be divided into 2 parts. This is just an idea. Of course, these are not the situations, just like to refresh your memory. You will be assigned 2 questions to answer. The questions were taken from the 4 units that we were studying. The idea that you will have 40 seconds to answer each question. You may consider that time is not enough, but let's say taking as a point of reference, like in reality, how much time you would actually spend answering the questions, that's the perfect amount of time. More time is just like exaggerating a little bit, and less time actually would be like not showing, let's say, the good level that you should have up to this point that I know that you do. On the second part, we're talking about interaction. I will present to you like different situations. The idea is that, first of all the members of the group participate, make sure of that. And second, that the conversation, like the moment of the performance, is of 2 minutes. I always use the timer during the development of the activity. So when the 2 minutes are up or when the 40 seconds are up, I have to interrupt you and say, okay, sorry, time is up. Let's move to the next part. Of course, based of time, the feedback that I provide is like really fast in very general terms. Probably there are something like is very relevant that like needs to be checked in the moment, because well, I have to move then to the next group. Of course, when a group finishes, the group can leave the session. That's the idea. There will be a group that is going to finish earlier, and there will be a group that will be finished around 10 p.m. Okay. Based on a change that was on our list, in our group, actually, it was like something that I did to make an adjustment on the groups. So I moved Christian from group number 7. I had you on group, well, yeah, I had you on group number 7, and now you will be on group number 6 with Joel. Okay. Luisa won't continue with us, Luisa Perez, by the way. So that is why I had to make the adjustment. Of course, I couldn't leave one person working alone. That would be the idea. That was the only change that I made. Guys, I would like to know if you have any question.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Very good. Well, guys, I hope that tomorrow, like, you work on the exam, like, well, of course, and as fast as possible. The idea is that we take part of the session at 8. I won't tell you, like, let's wait 2 minutes, because the idea is to start immediately. I will present the situations, and then you will be sent to the groups. I will give you a few minutes to organize your ideas, and then we will start. The idea is to have the grades, let's say, as soon as possible. So you guys know, I hope that all of you pass. That is like the general intention. So on Friday, we will be meeting for B1.4. Okay. Well, guys, again, let me clarify. These images are just for the purpose of giving you an idea of, you already noticed that these are the situations from the previous cycle. So don't get confused. These are not the situations, and these are not the questions. So we don't have like a misunderstanding tomorrow. Guys, as usual, thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow for the final exam. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Take care, everybody. Sure. Okay, Angelica, give me a second. Angelica, I'm going to take advantage of the situation. Did you already present the survey? I'm going to send you the survey first.
Sorry, teacher. Can you repeat, please?
Sure. I sent you the link of the survey, you know, the one that you have to take at the end of every cycle. It is like a regulatory thing, you know, for the government.
Okay.
Don't forget to do that. And the link. Bueno, eso es un poquito diferente. As you can imagine, the link is not ready yet. Hasta que Daniela y yo nos subamos las grabaciones, no vas a ver el link. ¿Listo? Entonces, yo creería que para mañana ya están. Ahorita no te va a salir nada.
Okay,
Sí, ahí está. ¿Listo? Entonces, Angélica, porfa, no olvides lo del cuestionario, porque si no mañana la coordinadora nos obliga a enviarte un correo y hasta que no lo responda no te dejamos en paz. Lo siento, súper cortico. Entonces, mañana ya ves las grabaciones de hoy, tanto la de Daniela como la mía. ¿Listo?
Listo, teacher, muchas gracias.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye.